6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan have been missing since Friday, May 2nd, 2025 from their home in Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia. By now, if you're following the case, you may know that a clever guy from Nova Scotia with a YouTube channel called Tint. By now, you may know that a clever guy from Nova Scotia with a YouTube channel called Tint found out that Lily and Jack's maternal grandmother, Cindy, is selling a horse trailer. So this guy drives over to Cindy's home and he finds a way to ingratiate himself with Cindy's boyfriend, Wade. Soon the guy begins spitting out questions about Lily and Jack, their mother, Malaya, their stepdad, Daniel Martell. And through this process, he gets a lot of info. I want to address the video the poser trailer buyer secretly took of Wade and his conversation. First, I find Wade, at least on a surface level, to be frank. To me, it feels like Wade is authentically answering the guy's questions. And for that reason, the way he answers so quickly without having to dig for words makes it feel like he's a lot more reliable than, say, Daniel Martell or Darren Geddes. Wade's details fit perfectly into what we already know about Lily and Jack's lives. These kids were likely living in dismal, filthy conditions. Their so-called stepdad, Daniel Martell, is at best a liar and at worst a drug addict, allegedly, and a controlling, possibly abusive young man, allegedly. The liar part we know is true. The drug stuff and the abuse are only rumors at this point, although we have seen images of Jack sporting bruises, at least one image. But again, neither Daniel Martell nor Malaya Brooks Murray have been charged with any crimes. But what Wade says supports what we see in that property on Gerlach Road. And it also supports all the rumors. Let's talk about all these details. Hi, I'm T, and this is Bed Crime Stories. I would like to ask you please to support my channel on Patreon. I'm going to be moving over to Patreon at some point because unfortunately YouTube is too much of a censor. They don't let me use certain words. If enough people sign up for that, then I don't have to worry about the censors anymore. And it will keep me making content because this is what I do to make my living right now. And whether anybody thinks it's worthy or not, creators making content, taking their time to research, to write, to record, I think they do deserve to be paid for the work that everybody watches, sometimes enjoys, maybe sometimes doesn't enjoy. You get the picture. Back to the story. First, I want to say that Malaya's mother's property looks really nice, very tidy. The house looks attractive from the outside. Of course, we can't see inside, and the property looks lovely. It is in a stark contrast to the Martell property. I'm curious to know if this guy actually bought the horse trailer, by the way, or did he abscond with Wade's free shirt and his secret video that we're all watching. Yeah, he asked Wade to give him a shirt that Wade was trying to sell for $10 to throw it in with the deal with the trailer that I think was going to cost him $3,500. One thing I find a tad upsetting about Wade is how cavalier he is when talking about Lily and Jack. When the poser buyer says, "I'm so sorry about Lily and Jack," Wade replies, "It's all good." Well, no, it's not all good, and since you, Wade, were a pseudo-grandfather to Lily and Jack, I would think you should feel deeply troubled by their being missing. And it's striking to me how nonchalant Wade sounds when discussing two missing kids, as well as Daniel Martell's alleged drug use and alleged DV against Lilly and Jack. And Wade even says that he thinks the kids are deceased and buried. Am I wrong here? I don't want to attack Wade, but he seems to be lacking a little bit of humanity, or at the very least, a sense of emotional attachment to the kids. Wade's the guy who was picking apples with Lilly and Jack. He also was there when they were babysitting the kids. Wade explained, by the way, that the apple picking took place in 2023, and the dog video where the kids are sitting on the couch was in December of 2024, just before Christmas. Wade said Daniel 1 makes, sells, and takes what I'm going to call Seth, remove the S, put an M there, and you know what I'm talking about. 2, that Daniel doesn't like Lilly and Jack, which I would say we may have witnessed in that video of Jack's birthday, where Daniel did not look at all amused by Lily's high-pitched shrieking. 3, Wade said Daniel uses DV on the children. Wade also disclosed that he believes Malaya is lying and that he and Cindy and some of Malaya's cousins had to take polygraphs. Wade also said CPS visited the Martell property and Malaya and Daniel's trailer in December, but failed to take any action or to take the children out of the home. Shame on CPS. So many people seem to have dropped the ball in this case. CPS because they didn't take action. Darren Geddes because he didn't immediately go over there when he was told about the possible abuse. He said, no, that's up to Malaya. Whatever goes on between her and Daniel, that's her business. If she personally asks me, I'll come and help her. Likely the grandmother and the mother of Malaya, if they suspected that type of thing, they too should have gone over there and grabbed the kids, or at least filed their own reports with CPS. Wade said that Malaya went to live with her grandmother, Patty, on the reserve. That would be the native reservation. Wade also claims that either Malaya or Cindy, he didn't make it clear, has a psychic who says that Lilly and Jack are still alive. I really wish that people who are secretly being filmed and interviewed would be more precise with their wording. I'm joking, of course. Wade said Lilly and Jack are probably buried way over near Moscodobo, I think that's how it's pronounced, which is east of downtown Halifax on the eastern shore of Nova Scotia. That long native term means foaming to the sea or flowing to the sea. That word means foaming to the sea or flowing to the sea. And it's a small coastal community, so there's water, there's a harbor, and it's 34 miles. It's a small coastal community, so we're talking about water, a harbor, and it's 34 miles or 55 kilometers from Lansdowne Station where Lilly and Jack lived. Wade asked a good question about Daniel and Malaya's story. He said, how would they know what Lilly and Jack were wearing if they didn't see them? That's a good question, although Daniel said Lilly came into their bedroom several times on the morning that they reported the kids missing. Wade also said that Malaya went first to her grandmother's house on the reserve after she left the Martell property. Then the police came and they took baby Meadow, who is Daniel and Malaya's baby. And now Malaya is still on the reserve living with the chief, who is her cousin. And Wade said that Malaya is going to get a house on the reserve. Wade was asking, why would Malaya stay with Daniel when he was allegedly using DV on her children? And why would she stay in a dirty house like that? Well, that's what happens when women find themselves in relationships with controlling partners. Perhaps there's some drug use going on. Wade also said that Daniel and Malaya are $34,000 in debt, allegedly. It sounds like Malaya was grappling with leaving because 3 months before the kids went missing, according to Wade, he and Cindy had a U-Haul truck ready to move Malaya and the kids to her grandmother Patty's house, but Malaya changed her mind the day before the scheduled move. And Wade said that if Malaya had said Daniel was using DV against the kids and was taking Seth, he and Cindy would have taken Lilly and Jack in, along with Malaya. Wade and Cindy, per Wade, last saw Lilly and Jack at Easter. And Wade described some strange behavior on Daniel's part when he would come over to Cindy's house. He would stay outside. He would go into the woods and hang out for an hour or more. Wade described Daniel's skin as being yellow in color. He said that's probably because he's unhealthy from allegedly doing drugs. We've heard mention of alcohol being offered to Daniel's parents, and I do wonder if there's some issues with alcohol as well. Yellow could mean jaundice, could mean there's liver damage. Wade confirmed that Daniel was only working 1 day a week and was rarely at the trailer when Wade and Cindy would drop Lilly and Jack off there. I'm assuming after they maybe babysat the kids. Wade also fascinatingly described Jack as being a kid who wouldn't do what you told him to. So he thinks maybe Jack did something, he didn't listen, and maybe Daniel got mad, grabbed Jack's neck, possibly injured it in a fatal way, if you know what I mean. Maybe Lilly witnessed it, and thus she had to go as well. That was all amusing. That is not fact. That is speculation on Wade's part. But we did hear that Jack, when he rode on the school bus, would throw his boots at the driver. So it sounds like little Jack, likely because of things he's experienced, possibly trauma, had a bit of a temper. And maybe that was his way of fighting back, even though he was such a little boy. Wade said that Darren had called Malaya like a few days maybe before this video was taken, and he was telling her, you know more, you need to talk. And Malaya told him, you're a crazy person, stop calling me. Wade also confirmed what a lot of other people, including Belinda Gray, Lilly and Jack's paternal grandmother, have said, that there's so many names in this case. Janie, Daniel's mother, has a dog, and the dog barks all the time. Wade also observed what we saw in the initial interview and the only interview that Malaya did, and that is that she doesn't seem utterly sad over Lilly and Jack's disappearance. He thinks she knows what happened. Malaya is also apparently looking for work, and Wade was asking who's going to babysit, because it doesn't sound like he wants to babysit Meadow. Wade also shared another really interesting detail that I think may be relevant to what happened to Lilly and Jack, and that is if you would go to touch her face or her hair or her head, she had a reflex where her arms would go up to try and protect herself. And clearly that's an indicator possibly that she was used to hands coming at her face, which is of course really upsetting. But again, what I want to know is why didn't any of these people intervene to help Lilly and Jack? Wade also said that Daniel's father, Earl, is a violent man, allegedly. We've heard that some people were offering Janie and Earl alcohol to talk. So that makes me wonder if everybody knows that there's a lot of alcohol abuse. I'm speculating. If all of this is true, then Daniel's mother, Janie Mackenzie, is not telling the full truth when she speaks to reporters. And of course, she has come across as one of those mothers who will do everything and anything to protect her children. She too had a cavalier attitude about Lilly and Jack and said, "No, I don't have any photos of the kids. I lived with them. They were on the property. I saw them every day." I'm sorry to say it, but I feel like Lilly and Jack had nobody. The biological father, Cody, dropped his responsibilities toward his children. Malaya, if all this stuff is true, didn't prioritize them. Wade said that Malaya received $2,000 every month for child care, I think from the government. And by like the day after or 2 days after, all that money would be gone. So that's either Malaya spending money on very expensive items, which could be clothing, purses, drugs, makeup. To me, it sounds like Malaya wanted to spend that money on things other than Lilly and Jack. Allegedly, we don't know if any of this is true. But if it is true, she might have seen Lilly and Jack as a financial burden. She may not have wanted to take care of them, to clean them, to feed them properly, to help them with their homework, to read to them, to love them, to spend money on food and clothing for them, to keep them inside a home that was clean and safe and nice and nurturing. Wade said that Malaya didn't clean the house. And I guess you can say neither did Daniel. Why should it be all of Malaya's responsibility? And if Daniel was making Seth inside the house, I'm assuming that would be very messy, dangerous. Wade said that Malaya's going to the beach all the time. That would seem to indicate that she knows there's no purpose or reason to search for her children or to advocate for them. She's not even willing to put out that effort, even to pretend or to try and convince us that the kids are really missing, because she knows what happened to them. Why take your time to search if you know where the kids are? I read that in Nova Scotia, single mothers who do not receive child support from the other parent may qualify for government assistance, such as money for rent, food and clothing, childcare, utilities, and transportation. So we've got money issues potentially going on with Malaya and Daniel. We've got alleged drug use. We've got alleged DV by Daniel against Lilly and Jack, who Wade said Daniel did not like the kids. So as cute and adorable as we find Lilly and Jack, it sounds like Daniel didn't find them that way. Wade also said that Malaya allegedly stole her grandmother's credit or debit card and charged $8,000, didn't pay it back. She also borrowed $1,500 and hasn't paid that back. So Malaya was being enabled, in a sense, by these people, by them not forcing her to pay them back, by them giving her money when she asked. It's a wonder to me that Malaya's grandmother, Patty, would allow Malaya back into her house if it's really true, though, that Malaya took the credit card or debit card and charged that amount of money. Wade also said that at one point, Malaya had like 100 dirty diapers somewhere in a basement. He said she was messy when she was living with Cody as well, which goes against what Belinda said about Malaya being clean, being an excellent mother. So I don't know if we can 100% trust everything Wade said. The more I hear about rumors of drug use and violence against the children, the more I believe, sadly, and tragically that Lilly and Jack disappeared because they either were harmed by either Daniel or Malaya or both, or that they got into the Seth and accidentally lost their lives. I do feel that Malaya and Daniel both know what happened. I think Malaya doesn't want to look at Daniel because he is a reminder of what may have happened to Lilly and Jack. I think she loved her kids, at least in the past. I really do think that drugs factor into this. They're so destructive. All they do is destroy